Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Friday evening, good number of devotees here. Look at this, Hanuman's dancing or swaying or something. Nice breeze up here. Well, Hanuman made his leap, and there was preparation, and then he pressed down and pressed down and pressed down, and off he goes. His journey is the mission of Lord Ramachandra. We saw several times yesterday the image of Ramachandra placing his ring in Hanuman's hand, signifying, you're the one. You're going to find Sita, and this is so that Sita knows that you're representing me. This is my ring. So they're very symbolic. So he was empowered. He was qualified in many, many ways, including powerful and super intelligent and Superman. He is. But it's one thing. Many things are going to be met. We'll also, if not today, then tomorrow, we're going to meet obstacles. Count on it. And it's not intimidating. It's just the territory between us and Krishna, or our goal of being connected, reconnected, and carrying out what Krishna wants, instead of, the other one. What we want, we think we want. So there's Hanuman, and shortly it's going to move to the next slide. Obstacles in life. So there's a question that's going to be asked multiple times. We have to make choices. How do you make the proper choice? And one of the considerations of a great hero is what's to be accomplished, what's at stake if you are successful, what happens, what the price you have to pay to be successful, what happens if you're unsuccessful, on either end of the spectrum. What are the circumstances? And those who are hearing about a hero, in Hanuman is the case, what's to be benefited for the audience who are hearing? In many cases, when making choices, there's conflicts. But we have our priorities, and another person or a family member or something, a group of people, they have another priority. This is human needs. Then there's levels of needs. And so one of the ways, the best way, if not the only way, is we have the same spiritual center within that diversity, because there's always going to be different needs. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's a scholar that wrote a book. This is a masterpiece of the book. So there's basic needs at the very bottom of this pyramid. Then, safety and security, and you have to have something to eat, and you have to have a place to sleep, some water, some food, fuel in your tank. So physical and safety needs, physical, basic. Then there's psychological or emotional. And it's a very important, it's not minor, it's a major. It's not just people, it's all living entities. A need to love and be loved, a need for a relationship. Where I'm staying, I'm on the 5th floor of a nice building. And one of the things that happens right outside my door is there's lots of pigeons and sometimes crows because they have bigger wingspan. And they're zooming around. They're playing, just enjoying. And then they come in for a landing, and then there's 5 guys on this little ledge. They're looking at them. What are you doing here? Then fly off. And they do that all day long. Who knows what needs they have that are being fulfilled? But as companionship, everyone needs to love and be loved. It's just nature. It's just how material nature works. And there's a sense of our own self-worth and our own being able to accomplish something, etc., etc., etc. And then there's, at the top of the pyramid, most people don't spend time at the top of that pyramid. Thank you, just leave all the lights on. That's very good. Thank you. So, not everyone is interested in spiritual realization, but they're interested in something. To achieve the fullness of my capacity and, all those phrases that people use these days. So we have different needs. This is I could spin out, but I'll refrain. There a little bit. It'll take too long, I won't spin out. This principle is a principle that can, should, and is sometimes applied in spiritual life. That there are some devotees that understand it. Some devotees don't understand it. But some devotees that understand it, conflicts arise when you are expecting others to fulfill your needs. And when others don't fulfill your needs, something happens. It's called the negative emotion. And then with negative emotion comes negative behaviors and speech and, and sometimes really ugly stuff. Sometimes it's just simmers and boils and sometimes explodes. And so that, people have relationship issues and conflicts with one another unnecessarily. And it's not the only reason, but one big reason is your existence is to fulfill my needs. Thank you. And some people just busy themselves fulfilling other people's needs, and that's called the relationship. But that's not what a relationship is. I mean, that's a dysfunctional relationship. They don't know who they are, they don't know who the other person is, and they're busy trying to meet each other's needs. It's not a relationship, it's material life. The birds that are flying, land on a ledge next to each other and say, Haribol Prabhu, how's it going today? Then fly off again. It's, these things go on any plane of existence. But so the upper top of this pyramid is to know who you are and to know who others are and be engaged in meaningful relationships of service unto one another. We're going to hear something about it shortly. So, when you're trying to make a decision, this is a nice lesson to learn. What's important to you, and even more important than what's important to you is, why is it important to you? The why question is a super duper question. Supposing you don't ask it, even if it hits you on the head, you probably won't recognize the answer because you're not asking the question. It's sankalpa. We talked about it, but it's just dwell on it a little bit more. Intention, we spoke about it, remember? So why are we here? Why did I come to Bangalore? It's warmer. But there are places that are warmer than this place. Somebody that's in America, they sent me a little text message. It's 2 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit where they are. And snow. Kids, no school because it was a snow day. They don't have to do makeup work because they attended the Istagosti today. Why are we here? So there's a reason for me. I'm a messenger. I was sent by Super Soul, by Krishna, by Krishna's representative, my spiritual master, to take his message and deliver it. Yes, sir. That's my service. That's why I'm here. And you're the persons who I'm serving. So why are you here? I mean, I don't need the answer, but I'm stirring the topic. This is because without the why, the how and the what become inconsequential, and then it's a mess. It's unfocused, and at the end of all of this, you'll take away a fraction of what you could be taking away if you have a clear idea of why you're here. What's to be fulfilled. So you can say something simple, like, I have faith in hearing about the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees, and that's going to cleanse my consciousness. And I've got this problem, it's called dirty consciousness, or contaminated consciousness. And I know I suffer because of it. I've got a body because of it. I'll get another body because of it, and it'll go on. So I want to lighten the heaviness of this material contamination. So I'm here, just to be receiving this sound vibration, trying to understand the message. The esteemed Acharya Hanuman is going to be teaching me some lessons. I want to learn some of his lessons. So let's go back. So, boy, dancing screen. Successful people keep in view their long-term vision, inner calling, and what's important immediately. So often we spend maximum attention on what's immediately important, maybe some intermediate goals, and not so often the long-term goal. And then, inner calling, what's that? Each of us have gifts given, we're endowed by different capacities, somebody this, somebody that, somebody the other thing, and then we're assigned some service according to our capacity, and we do that to our, as best we can. And that's our devotional life. So then besides that particular service, what is it that engaging in that particular service that's according to my nature, etc., what's it meant to accomplish? What's my mission in the bigger picture, the mission in life or the calling in life? We're often so busy we don't ask these questions, but what's on the screen here is successful people they ask themselves these questions. So I'm speaking like this because I can't think like this for you. Each of you have to think like this for yourself. myself also. You know, we get busy, too busy sometimes. I don't know how I'm going to be prepared for tomorrow's class. But it'll keep me busy, that's for sure. But while being busy, why am I being busy? You get the idea. I'm the why behind the what and the how. Hanuman is going to encounter obstacles as we, and he has some endowments. He has expertise, he has vision, he has intelligence, he has courage. Long ago, this was examined by Ramachandra, and he saw him to be a fit recipient. That's why he gave him that ring. You're the one. I mean, it's Leela, so he has a part to play in Ram's Leela. But he has gifts, and he is going to use them. And so each of us, we have our gifts. We're not Hanuman, and we're not crossing the sea. But we have some challenges to meet. And so there he is. He's gone to the top of Mount Mahendra, and he crouched, and he did all the things that he did. Notice there's Gandharvas showering flowers, demigods. And there he goes, leaping across the ocean. And there's some Vanras saying, "Yay, Hanuman, go." He looks like he's having a nice time. Looks like some of the birds outside. The ring back? Okay. No. You want me to bring the microphone closer? Vanilla or strawberry? Okay, better? Okay. Look, really fancy art. There's Hanuman flying. Now, it looks like he's having fun, but he's going to have some challenges, but they're also fun. Everyone in the mature world faces challenges, including Hanuman. In life, this is, with lessons of Sundara Kanda, and it's one of the lessons of life. It's not always moves in a straight line. We have a plan, but things don't move in a straight line. Even our plan is a straight line plan. Just like getting here, was an ordeal. We made it, but it wasn't a straight line, that's for sure. We had a good plan. So notice on the lower right side, there's Guru. So there's somebody, we need somebody to guide us. Ultimately, in my case, Prabhupada isn't there for me to go to. He's no longer physically present. So there's persons who are intimate devotees of Prabhupada, and they're go-to persons. And I go to them. We should go to them. Not with all little things, but some things so that there's a deeper understanding. And in the lower left, it says know nothing. We start from somewhere. That's you know nothing. It's good to, when you know nothing, it's good to know that you know nothing. It's not a good idea to think that you know something when you don't know something. The blank slate, and then someone can write something on the blank slate. No, okay. And it's not just Hanuman had difficulty. Certainly, other devotees of the Lord, their determination and their tenacity, it's tested, and sometimes severely tested. We wouldn't be able to survive some of these tests that Prahlad Maharaj had to undergo. But there's three categories of tests that are present in this section of Ramayana, the Sundara Kanda. And the first one is this Mainaka mountain. Now, generally, when you cross the sea, you don't bump into mountains because it's just sea. But there's a special situation. And the special situation is, it's a nice backstory behind the backstory behind the backstory. But this mountain, you notice it has a golden tip at the top. And this Mainaka mountain emerged from the sea, water falling off its sides on all sides, golden peaked mountain, shining beautifully like many suns, with nagas and kinnaras sporting on its slopes. Like, who are you? Where'd you come from? The mountain deity assumed a human form and stood on its peak, requesting Hanuman to rest a while. You're okay. Good. He didn't want to rest a while. He just got started. But, sometimes people, they have good intention. They want you to do this and do that and do the other thing. Even since I came here, I've been asked to do 3 things. And we have with a big smile, I had to say thank you, but no thanks. Oh, but only da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Big smile. You're very kind, but no thanks. Maybe another time, but no promises. They got the idea. Sometimes people don't get the idea. Polite doesn't work yet. You have to be more firm. Polite, but firm. So please rest a while. So the backstory is there's some gratitude being shown to Hanuman due to something way, way back in the past. This is a lesson. It's a lesson within a lesson within a lesson. You receive something. We talked about it a little bit in the Istagosti, at least. It's one thing to say please and thank you. That's polite. Your mother probably taught you. If you want something, you say please. Just grab it. And you receive it, and you say thank you. It just matters. But then, if something comes, whether it's being asked for or not being asked for, when you're the recipient of another's kindness, there's a debt. There's an indebtedness. We're receiving stuff all the time. What to speak of big stuff, like Krishna consciousness. The path to return to our eternal spiritual identity in our eternal relationship with the personality of Godhead. That's a big gift. And that's a big debt. So there are these nice terms, to be grateful, gratitude, a feeling in the heart of gratitude. So the ocean, Sagara, has a sense of indebtedness. We'll hear this backstory. While gracefully receiving another's expression of gratitude, overly indulging oneself in these gestures causes impediments in bhakti. So you don't be callous and say no. You can be callous, but that's a graceful, cultured person doesn't just rudely and bluntly say no. Sometimes in a humorous way I'll say like that, but it's just because of friendship and not because of an attitude. I made a vow to Ram and Sugriva. Also, I must finish my task before the day ends when it becomes night in Lanka. So what's the big deal when it becomes night in Lanka? there's Rakshasas, and at night the Rakshasas become like super powerful. So he has to get there and get his business taken care of before the night comes. I'm thank you, but I can't delay. I'm unable to stop. So to maintain etiquette rather than just saying no, he descended and he touched the forehead of this mountain personified, Mainaka personified. And in this way, he's showing respect or gratitude to the mountain and Samudra, without a sense of entitlement or indulgence. So you carry on with your service because you value what service that you're trying to carry out, and you're not callous to other people who are also well-wishers and so forth. Here's the from Ramayana. Here's the teaching. As remember, there's different levels of what's going on in Ramayana, and one is teachings, so culture. One should acknowledge a favor and try to pay it back. This is Sanatan Dharma. Krite cha prati kartavyam esha dharma sanatana. Mainaka expressed this principle of Sanatana Dharma to Hanuman, knowing that Hanuman was totally dharmic and vastly learned. He said, this is a net to capture Hanuman, your dharmic personality. So here's a dharmic principle. I want to acknowledge a favor that I've received. So here's the favor. It's the sea god or Samudra. In the past, Samudra, received some benefit, some service from Ramachandra's ancestor, Sagara, who had extended the ocean's boundaries and subsequently refilled the ocean when it was dried up by Agastya Muni. So he received benefit from one of the ancestors of Ramachandra. So he wants to repay. He feels indebted. That's what's in his heart. And so the sea god went to this mountain because the mountain also had received some benefit. We'll hear shortly. This is now speaking the principle. We're just drilling on. You receive something, you reciprocate with a mood of gratitude, not just a mood of saying thank you. You say thank you, but more than just saying thank you, an expression of gratitude. The ocean was once benefited by King Sagara, who was a forefather of Lord Ramachandra. Ocean gods Sagara requested Mainaka to offer a resting place to Hanuman to express his gratitude. He asks the mountain to not miss this chance to offer a service unto the servant of Lord Ram. No, Hanuman didn't do anything, and Ramchandra didn't do anything, but an ancestor of Ramachandra did something. He's still carrying that. So we may not instantly reciprocate in the best of ways, but it's something that we should ideally carry within us and find a suitable way, time, place, circumstance, suitable way. Be patient, and you carry it in your heart, this mood of service with gratitude. Anyone with piety or goodness in their heart becomes dissatisfied when a worthy act is missed. Suppose you have an opportunity to say something, do something, and you don't. You don't feel good. Anyone who does not have this goodness in their heart is indifferent to performing worthy acts. Sagara thus urged Mainaka to offer service to Hanuman, because Hanuman was the servant of Ramachandra. This is the principle. A good deed is repaid by a good deed. A bad deed is repaid by a good deed. You got that right? Such is the nature of a dharmic person. So here's Mahabharata teaching the same lesson. Notice that in pink letters, kritagya, kritagye, in the vocative. Niskriti, kritagye, nasti krititi, niskriti. Here's the translation. Lakshmana inquired from Brahma, who became angry upon seeing an ungrateful person. Mahabharata. Atonements have been prescribed as beneficial for one who kills a brahmana, one who drinks liquor, one who commits theft, and one who violates a sacred vow, but not for one who is ungrateful. Now I added this slide, and I'm not going to go into it because it takes too long. But Pancha Tantra is for kids, or teaching lessons of life through stories with animals. And there's a story not just about an animal, about a brahmana and this and that, the other thing, the other thing, the other thing, the other thing. He got really involved in complexity, but because he was ungrateful, he had to suffer. That's the simple bottom line. So here's the other reason. Vayu. Who's Vayu? He's the wind god. And Vayu, what's the relationship between Vayu and Hanuman? Hanuman's father. Yeah, Vayu. So Vayu saved the mountain from Indra. What's that's history? There was a time when mountains had wings. Oh, come on. Mountains had wings. Quit pulling my leg. Come on. No, they had wings. And then there was some difficulty, enmity and jealousy and those things. So Indra had a thunderbolt weapon. He was knocking off the wings of the mountains. And he came to Mainaka, and Indra was chasing Mainaka. And the wind god blew the mountain into the sea. So he still had his wings. Na 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 na. Sound effects. So the mountain was feeling indebted to Vayu, and here's his son. So Samudra went to Mainaka, the mountain that still had his wings and was protected by Vayu. And then not only that, but Vayu, the mountain, Mainaka, filled the hole, the Bilaswarga hole. It's a Satyuga story. So it's story upon story upon story. And so Samudra requested the mountain, please give a resting place. So, yes, sir, I'm very happy to do this. And so the mountain wanted to reciprocate, Samudra wanted to reciprocate, Hanuman's got to say no. But he doesn't just say no, he does this very nice gesture. Gently touched Mainaka in a way of accepting hospitality. Some gesture, it depends on circumstance, but some gesture that the other person understands. You're not just dismissing them, but there's some other purpose, some higher cause, something that you have to carry forward in. And it didn't take long. He just touched the mountaintop. So both the mountain, Mainaka, and Samudra, they were satisfied. Just that simple gesture. So when pure devotees make some simple gesture, it may have lots of meaning. I mean, there's stories after story after story of Srila Prabhupada making a little gesture here, a little gesture there. I'm chuckling because there's this nice little story. There's many nice little stories of Saraswati. Saraswati is the daughter of Shyamasundara and Malati. And she was the firstborn Hare Krishna child in ISKCON. And Srila Prabhupada loved her. And she loved Prabhupada. So with all of the important stuff he was involved with, he didn't neglect her. And Papa. And then she went running with her arms outstretched and then would stop because she was shy. Maybe I'm overstepping myself. So there's some nice stories, different things. He wanted to show Prabhupada a doll, and Prabhupada took the doll and started, ooh, here's Gopal. And, and oohing and eyeing, and so she looked at her parents is this okay? And Prabhupada hid the doll behind his back. Where did Krishna go? And she started running here and there looking for Krishna. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And then she attacked Prabhupada. You got Krishna. And then Prabhupada pulled the doll from behind his back. She grabbed the doll, and there was a flower on the floor. She went running and pushed the flower in Prabhupada's mouth. And Prabhupada, the description, Prabhupada's eyes got really big, and he got this marigold in his mouth. World Acharya playing with a small child. You can be sure for this day, that's in her heart. Just a little gesture of reciprocation, to be sure. And what to speak of the parents. And we're little people, but the gestures you make in reciprocation with others, it makes an impression, or the absence of it makes an impression. So we're less than perfect. I know I am, and so I always don't do what I think I could do, should do, would do, and and so forth and so on. But Lord Chaitanya and our great personalities, our founder Acharya, managed somehow to achieve this. So here's the lesson. And I'm not doing so well with time. Hospitality must be offered to anyone. That's the mountain, Mainaka. And especially by grahastas. What to speak of devotees of the Lord. Offering service to the servants of the Lord is akin to serving the Lord. Richness of the heart of a person is recognizing the contributions of everyone in our lives. Just like the leading discussion during the Istagosti today. She was just going on and on and on and on and on, appreciating this one, that one, the other one. It's nice. We can learn lessons from everyone and everything. Presence of a pure devotee can dissipate any animosity between two parties. At least the potency is there. And there was some animosity between Indra and the mountain. And they both wanted to serve Hanuman, so he was the lightning rod to resolve differences. So there we are again. There's the painting is meant to illustrate Samudra on the left, Mainaka on the right. Mainaka was living in fear. in the sea in fear of Indra. So it became a favorable situation just by Hanuman's presence. Anyway, you get the idea. And then supposing you want to do your devotional service nicely, and you start with enthusiasm, but sometimes, we just heard the discussion today, you start with enthusiasm, then something happens. Over time, it kind of fizzles. It fizzles because of complacency. So then, how do you maintain enthusiasm when there's tendency for complacency? Like, I want quick results, please. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my enthusiasm. And sometimes results don't come quickly. Chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for 55 years and see what happens. Where's the result? Maybe I'll become complacent. And this complacency has subparts: distraction, material opulence, piety. We get things that make things that are come to you from past piety. You become indulgent in those things. But so, what's in the foreground? The protection and prevention from that mishap is stay fixed on what your purpose is. Enthusiasm with determination. Here's a nice, you recognize this. This is the Gopakumar in Brihat Bhagavatamrita receiving mantra. And his spiritual master doesn't give him all the details of where this mantra can take him. Wanting to avoid being ungrateful, the focus is on this word grateful and ungrateful. Gopakumar never stopped chanting. He might justify abandoning the mantra only after attaining its final goal. If he were to stop chanting before then, he would not discover the mantra's full benefits. Thus, to stop the chanting prematurely would amount to ingratitude, for without having bothered to receive all the mantra's benefits, how could he properly acknowledge them? Nice, I like this phrase. Now this is Sanatana Goswami's commentary, and the scene is Gopakumar has gone all the way to Tapaloka, where the residents of Tapaloka, they're engaged in dhyan. And they say to this Gopakumar fellow, what are you doing with this chanting? Because the purpose of chanting is to fix your mind on the Supreme Lord. We do that all the time. So you just join us, join the party, do the meditation party. You know, chanting. But he couldn't stop he was attracted to what they were doing, but he couldn't stop the chanting because that would be a symptom of his ingratitude. How can I acknowledge that gift that I've been given if I don't achieve the fullness of it? That's a high position. I like that inspiration. So that was a test of his character. And after testing his character comes the next, his competence. So the competence came next. The devas and the nagas, they knew Hanuman is going to meet many, many difficult challenges. So they sent a representative to examine what his competence was. His character, fine. What about his competence? So notice in the painting, there's this monster below the sea level, and there she is, Surasa. To demonstrate the incomparable prowess and intelligence of Hanuman, Indra asked the snake goddess to assume the form of a disfigured Rakshasi as big as a mountain and rise before Hanuman. Now who was behind this? This is Indra. It's not like get back. It's like let's show your stuff, your competence. And she said, Brahma has granted me a boon that none who come before me can escape being eaten, and with her mouth wide open. I'm going to eat you. So here's from Sundara Kanda. The son of Dasarath, with the name Ram, entered the forest of Dandak together with his brother Lakshman and his wife Sita. Hanuman is teaching that when faced with any difficulty, we must remember and call upon the Supreme Lord Sri Ram, along with his consort Sita and his brother Lakshmana. He then proceeds to tell Surasa that he will come back once his mission is fulfilled. But she says, sorry, Charlie. Brahma said, and Brahma's word can't be broken, right? And he said, anyone who comes before me cannot depart without being eaten. So nice try. Surasa's jaws stretched 8 miles. Hanuman got bigger than 8 miles, 16 miles. He has mystic powers. She then expanded her mouth to 20 miles, and Hanuman exceeded that size with his body. She's got this benediction from Brahma. Although Surasa had challenged him, Hanuman maintained a mode of goodness demeanor within, shown by this word. It's in the verse, in this section. His face was always smiling. So there's this snake goddess. And there he shows his body get bigger and bigger, then all of a sudden got really small. And if you take a notice, look at the right ear. He entered the mouth and left the right ear. See? Having enlarged himself 100 yojanas, the dimension of Surasa's mouth, Hanuman then reduced his size, dove into her jaws, and came out her ear. Haribol. I fulfilled the Brahma's promise. I have honored Brahma's boon. Now let me pass and fulfill my mission. I wish you well. So, the test of his competence. And she turns around and gives him, the snake goddess, gives him her blessings. He changed the name that he's addressing her, Dakshayani. Being pleased with Hanuman's gentle behavior, Surasa blessed that his endeavor may achieve success. He could understand that she was actually Naga Mata. The Nagas were so pleased with his behavior that they protected his younger brother, Bhima, when he was poisoned by Duryodhana. Oh, young generation, you know the story, right? What happened? What's going on? Woo! Just went berserk. It's not, it's a computer. I don't think I did anything. No, the mouse doesn't show. I may have to unplug it and do it over again. Yeah. Let's go over here. Yeah. Oops. Now, here's a good question. If he could make his body 100 yojanas, and the distance between the place, the starting point and the ending place is 100 yojanas, why didn't he just make himself really big and step instead of flying? It's a good question, isn't it? Oops. Hanuman was on a mission to find Sita. Therefore, he's smart, he's intelligent. He chose to go in a secretive way, hiding his strength and power. Accomplishing a mission requires not just competence, good character, as well as competence. A good leader must have good character and competence. They must know when to use their intellect and when to use strength. It was the demigods. It was headed by Indra. Indra put Surasa up to this. The demigods wanted to test Hanuman's competence and character. Just like Durga Devi tests a soul by placing different obstacles on their spiritual paths. Yes? His strength was not just how big he became and all of that, but he didn't engage in combat with her. He just used his intelligence. And she was very pleased with how he was so intelligent. When we meet challenges, there's a tendency, can be a tendency. There are times when we should use force, that's for sure. They can think of some examples. A proper use of force. When if our founder Acharya is insulted, or Krishna is explicitly insulted, or something like that, a Vaishnava is insulted. Look what Krishna did. He separated the head of the washerman when the washerman started saying bad things about the cowherd boys. And so many other nice examples. So strength is necessary in certain circumstances. But humility is another antidote. This is showing the same. He enters his mouth and came out the ear. The Naga goddess resumed her original form and praised Hanuman, blessing him to be successful. And there's details of references. The Naga goddess Surasa in Valmiki Ramayana is one of the 10 daughters born of Kashyapa and Krodashva, Krodavasa, the daughter of Daksha. So it's involved. So what's the lesson? There's 3. We're on number 2. Here's the lessons from number 2. This obstacle. There's some obstruction for you to meet a task. Sometimes that happens. Hanuman's solution, he called upon intelligence, not just his strength. He used his strength, but he used more than his strength. He used his intelligence to overcome that obstacle. Hanuman's focus, he didn't lose it. While he's undergoing the decision making, he stayed focused on what his mission was, find Sita. Nice lessons, Bhagavad Gita lessons built into this little story of meeting Surasa. I hope you appreciate not spending time. Just this one slide, we could give a whole class just on this one slide. But you get the idea. The idea is there's scriptural instructions found in Bhagavad Gita that are displayed in the pastime of Hanuman meeting Surasa, or in itihasas or histories. Embedded within the histories are lessons, philosophical lessons. If you're tuned in, you can pick them up. And if you have a nice teacher, they can help you understand this is the application of this teaching. Hanuman did not allow the opulences arising from his past meritorious acts to inflate his pride. This remains an internal test for everyone. Pride and the enjoying spirit block life's higher mission. I hope it's going in. Here's another example, something that we've heard many, many times. One time in Vrindavan, there was a traveling scholar, because it was fashionable at that time for scholars to travel around and challenge somebody to a formal debate. And there was rules of the formal debate. And the one who won was to receive the submission of the one who lost, and the followers of the one who lost became the followers of the one who won. So they traveled around and he got big following until they lost. So one time, one such person came to Vrindavan, and he heard Rupa Goswami is this like super leader, so he challenged him to a debate. A scholar. And Rupa Goswami said, "Oh, you're so scholarly, I would never win a debate with you. Please accept my submission. You've defeated me without an effort." Very good. Signed a little document saying you defeated me, or I defeated you. Yes, yes, yes. It's a waste of time. It's not our business. So when is the right time to draw the line and challenge, and when is the right time to just be polite and move on? There's this nice saying. This is lesson number 2. We're heading to lesson number 3. A Lutheran theologian: God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Nice, huh? Okay, so now comes challenge number 3. It's not the last one that he's going to meet, but it's still crossing the ocean before he gets to Lanka. Here comes this lady, Simhika, and Simhika is a long section, as you see. She has this capacity, as you see from the drawing. She can stop the movement of somebody by holding their shadow. That's what she's doing. She stops Hanuman's forward movement by checking his shadow. And Hanuman was moving, according to Ramayana, on the pathway of the Siddhas and Charanas. There's some detail here. The pathway that he was traveling was a famous pathway. That's what the Valmiki Ramayana indicates. That's what he was told by Sugriva way back when he was in the Kishkinda section. You follow that path and you'll be successful. So here he is, passing over where Simhika is. There's his shadow, and she's stopping his forward movement by checking the movement of his shadow. So he doesn't mess with her. He doesn't, touch her head or, no nice exchange. He just rips her apart. After enlarging his body size, Hanuman, whose body was as hard as a diamond, became very small, entered her mouth, and began to tear the demon's vital parts. He cleft her heart in two and burst out from her chest. She fell back into the sea. There's the end of this lady. But it's a happy ending. The sages and devas who saw how Simika was slain exclaimed, Hanuman was created by Lord Brahma for the purpose of killing terrible Simika. So she representing envy. Simika was Chaya Grahi. She captured her prey by grabbing their Chaya, their shadow. Similarly, envious people plot an attack in the dark. Keep your doors locked tonight, everybody. This is India. Even in America, it's just like a thing. Indian people have to lock their door. We do, anyway. Even when they not just at night, when they just go out, they lock the door. You can't get in because they lock the door. It's just an Indian thing. Excuse me for putting it in those terms, but it's just like, so, envious people plot an attack in the dark. They can't be seen, nor do they confront face to face. So she was that type of lady. Unlike Surasa, Hanuman did not have any conversations, negotiations, nothing. He grabbed her heart and came out, tearing open her body. He didn't mess. She was that kind of person. But in the platform of being always mindful of his mission unto Lord Ramachandra. So here's the lesson 3, and we're drawing a conclusion. When the doorway of opportunity to fulfill our service mission suddenly closes tightly, what do we do? You can scream, that's one thing. Hanuman remained determined, supported by a strong conviction that the mission must somehow be fulfilled. So he knew, we heard this Acharya principle a few classes back. He was empowered by the order of Lord Ramachandra and the request of the other Vanras that you're the one to do this mission impossible. So he was charged by that confidence and the instruction, and he knew it. So somehow or other, because he charged, somehow or other, and somehow or other. It's like Srila Prabhupada when he came to America. When he did anything along the way, there was obstacle and obstacle and obstacle and opposition and this and that. And there's a very nice story, a little Prabhupada story. This is Prabhupada to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. In a relaxed moment, Prabhupada said to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Krishna asked me to go to the material world and act as his representative. And I said to Krishna, it's so nasty there. We don't want to go. And Krishna said, don't worry, you will be protected, everything will be taken care of, and then you can come back to me when that is done. He said, all right. Now, Prabhupada didn't disclose those things very often, but to certain people, he disclosed those things. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was one of those persons who Prabhupada disclosed confidential things to. See, he knew, Prabhupada knew they had Krishna's protection. So it didn't mean I have Krishna's protection, I can go jump off the bridge and I'll be protected because I've got Krishna's protection. He didn't. We do foolish things because we're foolish. Prabhupada didn't do foolish things. He did intelligent things, knowing that Krishna's protection would be there. Even there's obstacles, formidable obstacles, mission impossible obstacles, and it will be fulfilled somehow, at great risk. I mean, he didn't have the risk that Prahlad had. He had his own category of risks. You may know this, you may not know this. When he came to America, he came with the first 3 volumes of Canto 1. Meanwhile, he is working on a manuscript for Bhagavad Gita as it is, and somebody stole the manuscript. Did you know that? Somebody stole the manuscript, so he had to go back and do it all over again. And what's somebody going to do with the manuscript? Have a bonfire, I suppose. Useless to them. But he, undaunted, just obstacles. And move on with confidence. Somehow this mission will be successful. Abiding by that faith, await another door to open that we did not see before, and proceed with a grateful heart to do the needful for the completion of our mission. Devotees that have been around for a while know exactly what this means. And there's always something, and if there's, after that something, there's 10 somethings. But the mission must go on. So somehow, challenges such as these force us to face our own demons or shortcomings or misgivings. And it's purification. Laziness, distraction, indifference. Hanuman shows us how to confront those obstacles, inner obstacles, demons, by challenging us to become a better version of ourselves, this conventional phrase. Don't yield. I mean, you make it, you can take 3 giant steps back and pause, take a deep breath and consider, like, why am I doing this? What's important about this? Refocus. And then move forward. And it builds strength, spiritual strength, courage, intelligence. So wait till tomorrow. We're going to hear, once he reaches Lanka, he doesn't just start running around. He's a monkey, but he doesn't just start doing monkey business. He's considering what's the best next step. Those 3 obstacles were met. There's going to be more. And I don't want to foolishly, rashly create something unnecessarily, another obstacle. So let me think very carefully how to proceed. So that's tomorrow. Hanuman ki jai. Look at this, it's 7:45. We have some time for some discussion. I see one hand up in the back.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you.
I just want to find out who's our runner that's going to take the microphone from him when he's done. Go back there now. So when he's done, because there's other people. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for a very wonderful explanation how Hanumanji overcome the obstacles.
Yeah.
Hanumanji, you said that expertise. He was empowered with expertise, vision, intelligence, and courage. However, I'm a less than a perfect and not be empowered with such a qualities.
welcome to the club.
And when we faced such obstacles, most likely we may fumble and fail into our endeavor. So how do we define what is a success? So I have twofold questions.
Yeah, let's make it clear. Thank you for that division. One,
First question, how do we define what is a success and what is a failure?
endeavor is a success,
Yes.
not outcome.
Yes.
So let's stay on that.
Okay.
The endeavor is a success. So then the quality of the endeavor. How am I or you or any one of us staying focused on the why, the mission, the purpose, the objective? So bhakti, what's at the heart of bhakti? That Krishna should be pleased. So, that's a nice phrase. What does that mean? And how we evaluate it. But if you ask that kind of question within yourself and take feedback from others, how am I doing? Then that's a success. Sincerity of purpose is the success. And we can always sharpen that, refine it, and make it 100%, but we're not at 100% by prior admission. So that's the measure of success. Sincerity of endeavor aligned with what the mission is. So you have a particular application of the mission, but in general, it's that Krishna is to be pleased. Just like, how are we to measure the success of conducting this multiple-part seminar on Sundara Kanda? What's the measure of success? Or anything, the devotees that worship the deities, or whoever prepared the prasadam for all the devotees today. What's the measure of success? It's a good question. It's a very good question.
And I had a part two. I think you already answered.
Okay, thank you.
So, but I will just say that when we faced such a failures, so-called the failures from the material vision, how do we face those challenges?
Oh, just hit the reset button. What's success? What's failure? It's having a clear sense of definition. If you look at things with material yardsticks, then it's going to be, how do I deal with the negative emotion that I failed? Or I disappointed myself or others? But supposing, there's sincerity of purpose, and the result doesn't come, the result doesn't come, the result doesn't come, the result doesn't come, the result doesn't come. You don't get discouraged. And others that know that you're acting to your capacity sincerely, they'll continue to encourage you. You won't disappoint them. And if somebody becomes disappointed, despite the fact that you're making a sincere endeavor, you smile. I'm a little person. My capacity is very little, but I'm according to my capacity. It's a very basic, like the squirrel kicking in some particles of dust, trying to help build the bridge. For that kind of little example. You can be a little person, but do your part. And the personality God is pleased. And that's a success. Okay, somebody else. There were a bunch of hands up. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
I go.
Thank you for the amazing insights into the favors and obstacles that we face during our journey as a devotee. I just want to understand in our journey, how do we identify who is Mainaka and who is Simaka? We do not have
They'll let you know.
Yeah.
No, one is a gesture of gratitude. Another is a gesture of examining competence. And then the third is just an ogre. You know, so they'll identify. You know, it may take some intelligence to identify what's my shoes and what's my shirt. But there's a difference between shoes and shirt. It takes a little intelligence, but you can discern based upon the behavior of the individual. Now, some people, because one of the characteristics of the second one is deception, appearing something and the intention is something else. Now, that's not so easy, but a discerning person can see. By experience, a discerning person can see. Now, what do? We don't depart from culture. We see what we can do to elevate that person. And it may take some special effort to elevate, but at least from our side, the service mood doesn't go away. How can I be of service to this person? Aligned with the mission. And if that's what's inside, is what comes outside. And that's a positive force regardless of what happens or doesn't happen. Something more? Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance. In the human being's foundational needs, you told Maharaj probably full potential, including creative activities. This meant like we have to understand why we are doing devotional service, or is it something like that, Maharaj?
Yeah. You're repeating the essential message that I expressed during the class. So if you want support, yay. You're asking a question? You're asking for verification? The answer is yes, verifying. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Maharaj. Thank you.
So now, what comes next? Living a life that way. Consistently. For Krishna. So that Krishna will smile. Okay. Someone else.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. One of the person in this audience want to ask the question. He has passed a message to me to ask. He is feeling little shy.
Hold the microphone a little further from your mouth. Thank you.
Okay. So he wanted me to ask this question.
I heard that part.
Yeah. So his question is, can you please explain more about the state of mind of Hanumanji just before and after the launch to Lanka? And
The mindset of Hanuman before and after reaching Lanka. That's the question.
yes.
Well, that's what we've been speaking about. I recommend to this person who's asking this question, you're reading it in behalf of this other person, they go back and hear the earlier classes, because that's what the earlier classes was about. He was preparing himself with physically and emotionally and spiritually to qualify himself so he doesn't get distracted by obstacles and stuff. He's fixed. The mission is Ramachandra wants Sita to know that he's going to come and redeem her. Ramachandra wants Sita to know. And he is to carry that message forward. And there's going to be obstacles, including even, Sita trusting him, because she's surrounded by, crazy people. So who knows if this is another trick of the crazy people. And so he has a difficult service, but he's fixed. So what it takes to get oneself to that position, the person wants to know. Read the earlier verses of this chapter and hear the classes, because that was the topic. You're going to do it again.
Yeah, his second part of the question is, how can I achieve...
Hold the microphone a little further from your mouth.
Okay. His second part of the question is, how can I achieve the same state of mind by practicing Krishna consciousness?
Oh, that's the how-to question. You know how I answer how-to questions?
Sadhu Sangha.
What's the answer?
Sadhu Sangha.
Sadhu Sangha. And then you can unpack Sadhu Sangha and hold up the parts and put it back together, and it comes to Sadhu Sangha. So the how-to is the practices of devotional service that come about in association of sadhus. That's the how-to. Stay in the Hare Krishna movement. Keep sadhus in proximity. And if there aren't sadhus, find some or create some, or so sadhu sangha. And in the association of sadhus, you learn from them and serve them, and the shortcomings that we have, they're overcome. And then the true beauty of bhakti becomes awakened from within. So it's sadhu sangha. Next.
Maharaj, I have a question, appreciation rather than a question from today's class. So I see Hanumanji's throughout journey, as Sharanagati principles, we talk about Rakshisye iti Vishwasho. He has complete faith on Ramachandra's shelter. That's why whatever obstacles he is facing, he has complete faith on it.
You keep putting the microphone so close to your mouth, I'm hearing about maybe 60%. Did you catch all of what she said? Try again.
Is it better now?
That's a little better. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm just seeing today's class as Rakshisye iti Vishwaso. Sharanagati is one of the principle we always hear. Hanumanji is showing this principle throughout.
Hanuman showing?
This principle, this.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other part is when we are talking about the needs, we have different needs.
Yes.
Some are at the basic, some are at physical, and third one self-fulfillment needs. But I see that a devotee who is practicing as well as preaching should understand these needs of the persons very well.
To understand the needs of a person?
Preaching person, whoever is preaching to others.
Well, yeah, but what is the needs of others? You follow? My hand gesture. They're thinking, but you're thinking. Well, you're dealing with the immediate, but you also have to look for what the deeper need is. Why is this one there? Because that one's missing, or covered, or lost. And so if you know that, you have the part of the mission is to address the higher need, because without the higher need being met, the lower need isn't going to be. Even if it's met, it's cosmetic. And then the need comes back again, and then the need comes back again. So I'm only addressing part of what you said. I'm a little lost. Pardon me.
So I meant to say that a devotee who is a preacher should understand these needs of whom they are preaching.
Yes,
Otherwise,
I'm responding.
Yes.
I interrupted you. Supposing somebody's hungry, you feed them. And is that their need? Arjuna had a need. He, I don't want to deal with this ghastly scene in front of me. That was an emotional need. So Krishna addressed that emotional need by dismissing it. A learned person, you're speaking like a learned person, but learned persons don't lament for the things that you're lamenting for. Then then you're not the body. And anyway, so by you wanting to meet the needs of others, you need to understand Bhagavad Gita so that you can understand what meeting the needs of others means. Because otherwise it stays on the material platform, the needs of others. There's nothing wrong with seeing to the material needs, but if that's the mission, is seeing to their needs, it's endless. Mission not accomplished. I hope you understand my reply.
Yes, Maharaj.
The process of Krishna consciousness is just echoing the words that you used. That people have needs. That's they want. We have if you remember that chart, we need to love and be loved. But there's different ideas of what that means, isn't it? So, to love everybody. What does that mean? Does that fulfill their need? So it takes a deeper understanding of who the person is and what needs really are. There's physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual needs. It's a package. We don't do one and not the other, but by the one, the others are accomplished or will be accomplished. Okay. We're running out of time. It's 4 minutes after. Who else had their hand up? You have your hand up. Who's? Does somebody here have a question? Yes. Oh, you got the microphone too. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful class. In one slide, it was you told that Hanuman was determined and he was supported by a strong conviction that his mission was the most important and that should be fulfilled. So how can we develop that determination?
Oh, you know the answer. Sadhu Sangha. Quality Sadhu Sangha. Quality Sadhu, quality Sangha. Quality Sadhu Sangha. Bhajana Kriya. Chant Japa. The how to. It's not something mystical. It's something very basic and natural. I see. You're going to wrap up. Okay.
There's a follow-up to the question and the reply that you gave to Yugala Kishore Prabhu. You said that the endeavor is the success, not the outcome or the quality of the endeavor. And on one side we have like the example of the Brahmana and Srirangam, whom Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met. He couldn't recite the verses of the
Right,
Gita.
right.
That's his endeavor was right, and
Yes.
that was a success. And
Yes.
outwardly no success. That is one part of it, which I get.
But
But there may be instances where a person is doing it not right. Like say he's distributing books in a very rude way or on your face way. He may not get success. There's something that he can learn of doing things differently, where outcome is like a feedback loop.
well, to say the endeavor is a success, I didn't stop there, that there's the quality of the endeavor. Whether there's a result or there's not a result. So the person that is misbehaving in the name of I'm endeavoring, that's not proper endeavor. The purpose of the endeavor, the purpose of the success of the endeavor is that Krishna is pleased. Supposing somebody comes back from book distribution and they've done, modest compared to the person that was the rude person and not good representative of the organization, who was successful. So, we're saying the same thing, but it just, the qualifier of the endeavor is where the adjusting goes, not just the outcome. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
श्री श्री गंधर्विका गिरिधारी श्रीमन महाप्रभु की, सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान की. Thank you very much, Maharaj. We were all lucky to hear some sweet pastimes of Prabhupada hiding the dog, and also we were lucky to get some confidential secret discussions between Prabhupada and Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj. So we are going to be lucky once again because Maharaj is going to give us little something, some sweets. But we should not come and rush up.